Okay, Baruch Shechianu v'Kimanu v'Gianu Lazman Hazeh, to the finishing of Masechtas Gittin, a certainly more than average tough Masechta. Some Gemaras were extremely challenging, and it's really a big simcha to finish such a Masechta. It's really overwhelming to see such a crowd here in the shul. It's what I dream of. We although really I should greet the live guests first, but there's a rule, Tadir V'Sheina Tadir Kaidem, and those that are with us every night, we will greet first Yitzi Muller, Aaron Swade, Ruvain Pollack, Eddie Chazan, Dr. Matthew Guy, and Marshall Castle. We want to wish Marshall a mazel tov on his son's marriage. That's why he was missing out last week.
He just wished
and we also learned for his brother, who still needs big rachmei shemayim, Mordechai ben Sari Hudas, Reb Smulowitz. It's great to have you joining us and upgrading our Olam. Yisrael Fisher from Tannersville. Mark, we miss you very much, but we're glad you could join us at least online. Rabbi Yisrael Kramer would be here, but his wife is sitting Shiva. So she should have a nechama b'sech sha'av elitziyah mishalayim. Nachman tried valiantly to come tonight, but Nachman, I'm glad that you could at least join us on Zoom. Shimon Klein, Baruch Ian, who is under the weather with some back issues. Baruch, we wish you a refuah shalema b'sech shachar Yisrael. We miss you greatly here. It says Afum Tzara Agra. Baruch is learning in pain. So the schus of learning with pain should have a refuah shalema b'sech shachar Yisrael. Ben Zion Cohn, Rabbi Kranz, A.B. Spry. A.B. made an effort to come and change his schedule. A.B., it's good to have you. Pesach Sigelman, it's good to have you.
Just landed in Florida.
Just landed in Florida. Well, it's good to have you. Pesach Sigelman, Moshe Lehman, Richard Rosenzweig, Ilya Shutman, Yehuda from Yerushalayim, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, David Elfgard on Kol HaLashon. And now, it's Hashem, please make it. We should have like this every night. When I come back from the summer, we should have, what's your first name?
Shaya Sokol.
Shaya Sokol, Berish Gesserman, Funfetter, Ramosha Jackman, and Irving Fishbaum came all the way from Staten Island, Rev Aberbach, Reb Zell, Rev, what's your first name?
Avram.
Rev Avram, and Reb Rivi, and Reb Sultan, and Reb. We have a very special guest here. Menachem Yemansky came with his father, Reb Yemansky. It's wonderful to have you here. Dr. Rothstein, Avram Schenkman, Saba, Michal is here, Akta, and Gedalia Engel. Mamish, every single one of you make this year Reb Aberbach. It's really great to have all of you here. Our daf tonight is a very interesting one. We are sponsored by A.B. Spry throughout this Masechta with a tefillah, which all of us should be mispal for all the time. And that is that all children should get into school without heartache to the parents, without distress, but with comfort and ease. We're also sponsored by Baruch Ian, Lila Nishmas Esther Bas Yona, Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba, Avram Ben Shmuel HaKayin, and the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We learned from my Shver, who is now in Florida, starting a 3-day treatment tomorrow. Victor Arya Ben Rivka. We learned from my Talmud, B'Tzalel Klein's father, Meir Ben Chayasar, should have a refuah shalema, b'sech shachar Yisrael. Beis Shammai says a get is only used in case Tzadik Amid Aleph. New Mishnah, Tzadik Amid Aleph. Beis Shammai says a get is used really only in case there's a suspicion of adultery. Beis Shammai Aimer lo yigarish adam es ishta, a person shouldn't divorce his wife, elim ke matzah ba'erves davar, unless there is found some kind of a matter of nakedness. In other words, a question of immorality. Because that's what the pasuk says. Ki matzah ba'erves davar. If you find an ervas davar, then v'kasav l'sefer krisis, then you write a writ of severance. Beis Hillel says afilu ichdicha tafshilai, even if she just burns his food. Rashi says either burns his food with fire, it's overcooked, or it's too much salt. Now the Tiferes Yisrael adds a very important addition, a caveat that Rashi does not add, and that is bikavana, that she meant to burn it. She meant to oversalt it. Not that she burnt his food. I mean, anyway, a person is normal, but it means that she did it for you. I'm going to oversalt it. Shenemar kimatza ba ervas davar, and Beis Hillel says that we separate it, ervas or davar or something else or a different matter. Rabbi Kiva says afilu matza acheres noeh mena. He could give her a get even if he finds a better one, even if he finds a prettier woman. He could give her a get. If she doesn't find favor in his eyes, if she doesn't find favor in his eyes. Now we have to understand that as we welcome in Aryeh Perlman, who's joining us, I believe from upstate, and we have to understand Rabbi Akiva. This is the great Rabbi Akiva. So what is he saying? It would seem to be that Rabbi Akiva is concerned. Remember, in those days, a man could take other wives. So if she doesn't find favor in his eyes, he can marry another woman and neglect her. And we don't want that to be the fate of the woman. You know, if somebody learns the Mishnah, at first it sounds callous to the woman. He wants a newer model so he can send her away. Yeah, you have to understand that if you could marry more than one wife, if he's not going to feel attracted to her, that's going to hurt her. So rather, she should have the ability to find someone who does like her and does appreciate her. So Rabbi Akiva holds that he could send her away even if she doesn't find favor in his eyes. Tanya, we don't paskin like Rabbi Akiva, we paskin like Beis Hillel, that there has to be some legitimate reason, like that she's really out not for his benefit. If she's oh, my husband's here, she takes the salt shaker and she ruins the food, you know, is doing that, then you can't. Ein adam dar im nachash bekvifa achas. A person cannot live with a snake in one nest. It doesn't work. Tanya, Amru Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel says to Beis Shammai, V'aloi kvar nemar, don't say it's only for a matter of erva, because it also says davar. If it would just say im matzah erva, so you'd be right. But it says ervas davar. Amalem Beis Shammai says, but v'aloi kvar nemar ervas, which sounds only if there's such a serious concern. Amalem Beis Hillel, so Beis Hillel says this is the reason why it has to say both. Im nemar ervas v'loi nemar davar. If it would only say for immorality and it wouldn't say davar, then we would say like you. If there's a concern of adultery, you have to send her away. Mishum davar, but for something else, loy teitzei. Lekach nema davar. Oh, but ve'ilu nema davar v'loy nema ervas. Remember, it says after the get is given, v'holcha v'oisel ishacha, she marries somebody else. I might say, if it only says davar, hayisi aimer mishum davar, if it's for ruining his food, tinase lacher, she could marry someone else, because maybe somebody else she'll like better and she'll treat him nice. But a mishum erva, but if she was acting in an adulterous manner, there, not only does he divorce her, but she shouldn't be able to marry someone else either. Imishum says the Gemara, if it would just say erva, if it would just say davar, and v'loy nema erva, yisayim mishum davar tinasei lacher. Because of something else, she can marry someone else. But mishum erva, if she's acting in an adulterous manner, like tinasei lacher, we should ban her from getting married. L'kach nemer ervas, that even then she just can't live with him, but maybe another man will capture her interest more, and she won't behave this way. Beis Shammai, who restricts it only to ervas, so then why does it say davar? Hi davar my avdolei. It's coming to say that if there are davar, we're going to learn now davar al pishnayim edim shloisha edim yokum davar. If there are witnesses, then he has to send her away. When does he have to send her away? Nema kan davar. It says here davar v'nema lahalan davar. And it says elsewhere, al pi shloisha edim yokum davar. Ma'alahalan, just like over there, it's corroborated b'shnei edim. Afkan b'shnei edim. If there are two witnesses that she committed adultery, then he has to send her away. Beis Hillel says you would be right if it said miksiv erva bidavar. If it would say erva bidavar, then you would be right. It's a matter of nakedness with davar, with two witnesses. But it doesn't say bidavar. It says the Gemara, Beis Shammai counters, according to you, that it's either erva or another reason, it should say erva oy davar. Beis Shammai miksiv oy erva oy davar. Beis Hillel says, you know why it doesn't say that? Because we want to darshan both. We want to taka say it's either erva, either adulterous behavior or another matter, but we also wanted davar to be connected to erva, that he has to send her away if there's two witnesses, and therefore Beis Hillel lahachi ksiv ervas davar the mashma hachi, it's mashma erva or davar, and the mashma hachi that the only erva that he has to send her away is a davar if there is two witnesses. Rabbi Kiva says, afilu matzah acheres, even if he finds someone nicer than her, someone prettier than her. Says the Gemara, b'may kamifligi. What's the machlokes? Now it's interesting. One of the most ambiguous words in the Torah is ki. Ki could have one of four meanings. And the Gemara says that that's what the machlokes is. It says ki motza ba ervas davar. So they're arguing b'reish lakish. The Amar reish lakish, ki mishamesh b'dalad l'shainas. Ki could mean one of four meanings. It could mean if. Dilma, it could mean perhaps. Ella, it could mean but. And daha, it could mean because. So Beis Shammai Savrei, Beis Shammai says that ki over here means because. Ki, because matzah ba'ervas davar. Daha, because matzah ba'ervas davar. So he says that's the only reason you send away, because of an ervas davar. Rabbi Kiva Savar, ki matzah ba'ervas davar means if he finds ervas davar. Now, if it means if, He's saying this first reason is because lo simcha chein be'einav. Inami, or if there's a matter of adultery. Inami, or if matzah ba'ervas davar. So he learns ki means if. Amalei Rav Papa l'Rava. Rav Papa says to Rava, let's say, according to Beis Hillel, he didn't have a good reason. He didn't have a good reason. He's bored. The guy's bored. He's having a midlife crisis. And he sends her away. What's the din then? Amalei Rav Papa l'Rava, loy matzah b'loy ervel v'loy davar. There were no grounds. She wasn't acting adulterously, and she wasn't doing anything lahakis. She wasn't burning his food. She wasn't oversalting it deliberately. Now, if he sends her away, does he have to take her back? So the Gemara has a very, very interesting raya. The din is, in a case of rape, so he has to marry the girl that he rapes, and lo yisucha l'shalcha kol yamav. He's not allowed to send her away. Ooh. Only in such a case he can't send her away. And he has to take her back. When it says lo yisucha l'shalcha kol yamav, that means if he sends her back, he has to take her back. But only over there. Over here, even if he sends her away without grounds, it was wrong, but he doesn't have to take her back. And that's the Gemara's raya. Amalei midal gali rachman gabe oinus. Since the Torah reveals by rape, lo yuchal l'shalcha kol yamav, that he can't send her away his whole life, and that means if he sends her away, he has to take her back. Kol yamav ba'amoid ve'echzerka, he has to take her back. Ha samhu de gali rachman, only by rape. Aval hacha ma'id he shouldn't have. He's a bum. Sends away his wife where there's no grounds, but he doesn't have to take her back. Amalei Rav Misharshir l'Rava. Im libay legarsha. If the husband has decided he really doesn't like her, and he's going to divorce her, v'hi yosheves tachtov u'mishamashkai, but she, not knowing what his plans, faithfully serves him, has intimacy with him. Mao, what's the situation? Is that okay? Look, I didn't say anything yet. I'm biding my time. But he's planning to divorce her, and she, without knowing any of this, is trustingly loving him. Kari alei, about such a, you'll excuse the expression, about such a rat. The pasuk says in Mishlei, al tachrish al re'echa ra. Don't silently plot against your friend evil. While he is living, in this case, she is living trustingly with you. That's traitorous behavior. It's not a good thing to do. Tanya, just like there's different attitudes to food. Some people are more fastidious than other people. So kishem shadeyos b'machel, just like there's attitudes with food, kach deyos b'noshim. So people have attitudes with their wives being more free with other men. Yesh lach adam, there are people shezvuv neifel l'seikaisai, that if a fly falls into their cup, v'zorkai, they throw out the whole cup, v'eino sheisei, and they don't drink it. Even if it's not such a solid food, they just throw out the whole cup and they don't drink it. V'zui midas Papas ben Yehuda. Papas ben Yehuda, his wife, shoyanoyel b'fnei ishtai. He would lock his wife in the house. He wouldn't let her out at all. Shoyanoyel b'fnei ishtai v'yotzei. Now that eventually caused tremendous enmity because, people need to have social activity, right? Oy chavrusa misusa, you can't lock up your wife in the house. And he locked his wife up because he didn't want his wife to have anything to do with anybody else. Eventually, she would get divorced from him because of that treatment. And this was Miriam Magdala, who would later on be the mother of Yashka. So that had terrible repercussions. I want a special thank you to Reb Gedalia. Gedalia, thank you. I'm sorry, really, it would have been proper for me to wait for you. But if I waited for you, it would be late and you have to go to sleep earlier. So I didn't do that. Gedalia just set up the whole siyum by himself.
Rabbi,
Yes.
it says if a man doesn't find favor with his wife, that's such a general word. That could mean anything.
Well, that's why we have a three-way machlokes.
Okay.
V'yeshlach adam shezvuv neifel l'seich kaisei. There are people that fly falls into their cup. V'zorkei v'sheiseyu. They toss it out and they drink it. V'zui midas kol adam. This is a midah beinanus, which in the case of women, shemedaberes imachia ukreiveha, where they have the wife speak to her brothers, her relatives, and they're fine with it. Omanicha. That's a normal behavior. Then there's a gross person, where a fly falls into his porridge. He sucks at it. He eats the fly. Zui midas adam ra. Sheroyes ichta yoitza. He sees his wife go out. V'roisha perua, with her hair uncovered. V'tava b'shuk, spinning in the marketplace, uncovering her full hand when she spins. Upruma mishneit tzadeh. See, this is the Talmudic slit. But the Talmudic slit was not with the thighs. People think pruma mishneit tzadeh with slits on both sides. People think with the thighs. Here it's referring to the above the elbow, that they had sleeves, but there were slits above the elbow, where above the elbow the hand showed. And she bathed with people. Now the Gemara says, aghast. What? Bathe with people? In those days, nobody would think about this. In B'nai Adam Salgarayta, she bathed with the men? That can't be. Ella b'makom sh'b'nai Adam roichetzen. She would go where the men are getting dressed from their bathing, and she would go in there. And she didn't express any kind of modesty. So says the Gemara, "Zu mitzvah min haTorah legash." Such a woman, it's a mitzvah to divorce her when she exhibits. Now we're not talking about where all the women go with uncovered hair. That's because that was the minig of their mothers. We're not talking about that. We're talking about where a woman deviates from the norm. Zu mitzvah min haTorah legarsha shenema ki matzah ba'ervas davar v'shilcha mebeisai. You should send her from. He sends her from his house. V'holcha v'haisa leish acher, and she goes and marries another man. Now what's about another man? So it says the Gemara, a man that's not like the first husband. He's different. It's not the same kind as the first husband. This one sent his wife out because she was promiscuous, because she acted with lewd behavior. And now the second one knew why the first one sent her away, and yet he took her in. Now Zacha, if the second one merits, then Zacha Sheni Shilcha. then the second one will also send her away. Shenema usneya, if the second one hates her. Usneya isha achrei. V'im lav, but if not, then koivartoi, she will cause him to be buried. Shenema o kiyama sa isha achrei. Kedai hu b'mitzah, he deserves death that he took such a promiscuous woman on his own volition. This one sent her away, and he said, no, for me that's okay. Now, the pasuk in Malachi says something very ambiguous. Kisone, one who is hated, shalach. So one who is hated, send away. So the Gemara now tells us two pshatim in this pasuk in Malachi. Rabbi Yehuda says that it's telling us grounds for divorce. Im senesa, if you hate her, shlach, send her away. Rabbi Yochanan says no, it's telling us sonu yameshalech. Hate is the one who sends away his wife. V'loi pligi. Haba zivig rishon. One is with the first zivig. Haba zivig sheni. The first zivig, an Eishes Neurim, which is, we assume is the Basherta. So there, hated is the one who sends her away. Damar Rabbi Lazar kol hamegarish ishtoi rishayna. Whoever sends away his first wife, afilu mizbeach morid alav demais. Even the altar sheds tears. Shenemar v'zois shenis tasu. This is a lengthy pasuk. V'zois shenis tasu. And this, yet more do you do. Kasais dima as mizbech Hashem. You cover the altar of Hashem with tears. Bechiv anaka, with crying and sighing. Me'ein oid pnois el mincha, it refuses to turn with favor in the meal offering. Ulakachas ritzayin miyadchem, and take willingly from you the karbanos. Va'amartem, and you say alma. Why is the mizbeach crying? Al ki Hashem heyed beinecha, Hashem testifies between you, ubein eishes nurecha, the wife of your youth, asher ata begadeta ba, that you acted treacherously to, v'hi chavertecha, she was your friend, be'eishes brisecha, and the wife of your covenant. Zivik sheni, so Zivik sheni, which is lefi maasim, and sometimes people are not deserving, so that's different. But the Zivig Rishon, there it says, Sani HaMeshalech. Of course, that wouldn't be the case if Matzah Ba'erev Davar, then you would be mechuyev to send her away. We'll talk more about this and the different scenarios by the Siyam.
What does it mean, Hashem Eid?
Hashem testifies. In other words, it means that the Mizbeach knows from the Rebbeinu Shalom that, here's Baruch Gold. Wow.
Baruch went shopping and bought all the food.
We want to thank Baruch for shopping, and Baruch, I think you should come in the front and take a picture from the front. Yeah. If they would know you would be here, there would be many more people.
Is too much salt in the chol tonight, or we're okay?
No, not too much. Oh, look at Moshe Hyman is here. Welcoming him back from Eretz Yisrael. Good to have you.
Rabbi, can I ask a question?
One second. Ben Sion just asked a question. And you also want to have a shot from the Zoomers. Where would we be without the Zoomers? And we need a picture of you, you know. No,
We are the Zoomers. Let's all hear it, guys.
What's up? Mazel tov.
okay, so again, the Mizbeach cries because it has information, so to speak, from the Rebbeinu Shalom, who sees about the treachery of such husbands that divorce their Ashes and Urim instead of trying to work things out. Yes, what did you want to ask?
Happens in the case of rape that there was a Kohen. So he marries her, but if he sends her away, he can't take her back.
No, he can take her back. If he sends her away, we would not say Asay Doichaloisase. Correct.
So he could not?
No.
He could not take her back, right? Okay.
Hadu lacha megaresh uslika la mesechtes Gittin. Hadu lacha megaresh uslika la mesechtes Gittin. Hadu lacha megaresh uslika la mesechtes Gittin. Remember, Rabbi Isai, it's a skula to say the hadron, and when we say the hadron, we also say that the mesechta should have its mind upon us and protect us. Hadron Allah Masechtas Gittin, we're going to return to you Masechtas Gittin, V'hadu Chalan, and you should return to us. Daitan Allah Masechtas Gittin, we have our mind on you Masechtas Gittin, V'taita Chalan, you should have your mind on us. Loi nisne sheiminach Masechtas Gittin, we shouldn't forget you Masechtas Gittin, V'loi sisne sheiminan, and you shouldn't forget us. Loi ba'alma hadain, v'loi ba'alma da'asi. Hadron lach mesechtes Gittin, v'hadru chalan. Daitin alach mesechtes Gittin, v'daita chalan. Loi nisne sheiminach mesechtes Gittin, v'loi sishne sheiminan. Loi ba'alma hadain, v'loi ba'alma da'asi. Hadron lach mesechtes Gittin, v'hadru chalan. Daitin alach mesechtes Gittin, v'daita chalan. Loi nisne sheiminach mesechtes Gittin, v'loi sishne sheiminan. Loi ba'alma hadain, v'loi ba'alma da'asi. Yiratzim ufanach adinoi elheinu, v'loi v'seinu shetei soy raschom, u'manaseinu, v'elam hazeh, u'seim anu lo'ilam haba. Chaninu ba'papa, Rami bar Papa, Nachman bar Papa, Achoy bar Papa, Abba Mari bar Papa, Rafim bar Papa, Rochesh bar Papa, Surcha bar Papa, Ada bar Papa, Doru bar Papa, Harav Nadi Noeleinu es Devesa, Rascha Befinu, Obefivi Asabcha Beisoven Yan, Kulanu Anachnu, Vitzetzoenu, Vitzetzoenu, Vitzetzoyamcha Beisokulanu Yoidei Shemecha, Velaim Dei Sarisach Lishma, Meyoi Vaitachak Neini, Mitzuisacha, Kiloilam Hili Hili, Bisam Chukach Laman Laevosh, Lailam Layashkach, Pikudacha, Kivam Chisani Barachato Adinoi, Lamdeni Chukecha, Amen, 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 Selavad, my Demanachlu Fanecha, Adinoi Aleinu Aleavisenu, Shesamta Chalkeinu Miyashway Besa Medrash, Volaisamta Chalkeinu Miyashway Kransion, Mashkim, Anamashkim, Ledevay Tai, Rave Mashkim, Levarmetel, Amen, Amen, Oh, no, Amen, Makam Skar, Amen, Makam Skar, and the Ratzim, on the Ratzim Kayalam Abba, Vaim Ratzim Leveshachas, and Amatalim Tarida, and Veshachas. Anshe Domimir, Malayach to Yemayman, Yeftach Bach, you had some of an Akadna Lane of Avicenu. Kishem Shazartenu Lisayim, Kishem Shazartenu Lisayim, Mesechtus Gittin, Kain Tazrain Lasko Mesechtus Warmachem Lisaimam. Lil mein Olami Lishmu Lasses Kaimes Kol Direi Salvator Sech Biava O Zechos Kalatanoyim Amarai Mesami Dechacham Yamlan Ul Zarenu Shaloi Tamashatem Binum Pizarenu Vizarenu Adoilam Bisis Kayim Bonum El Salecha Tanko Isach Bishach B'chot Tishbar Lecha Vakitzai Secha Kivi B'yomechi V'siv L'chash Neischaim Eirech Yom Yimin HaBismail HaYishem Chobad Adinoi Yisam HaYitain Adinoi Yivarech Esamoi V'Shalom